I want to start where I always do, thanking you, federal employees, people who are committed to helping our country in so many different ways. The Department of Education, AID, which was a great representation of who we are in terms of saving lives overseas, but also helping protect people here at home from diseases that know no boundaries. So I want to start by thanking all of you. Yesterday, right in front of the Supreme Court, we also met with some current federal employees, those who have not yet been laid off. And their message was the same as yours, which is that we should not be signing a blank check to a lawless president. And the work that you do is something that the American people often take for granted. They don't see that good work every day. But you're the folks who are helping care for veterans in our veterans hospitals, federal employees. You're the folks who are developing treatments and cures to diseases that impact every American family. You're the people at the Department of Education who are helping make sure that we provide a quality education to every child in America, regardless of where they live or regardless of disability. We always need to do better, but getting rid of the Department of Education makes things worse. You're the people who are there to help our fellow Americans after natural disasters and big emergencies around the country. And the list goes on and on and on. And so when Donald Trump insists on it's his way or a highway, and insists on shutting down the government, the people who are going to lose the most are the American people, because they're the ones who benefit from the good work that you do on their behalf every day. You are true patriots who have helped our country, and what a shutdown does, in addition to hurting the people who do that good work, our federal employees, is it hurts everybody in the country. You know, I met last week with someone from Atlanta, Georgia. He came here because we had spoken out when one of the NIH clinical trials on cancer was disrupted. And he almost lost his spot in the clinical trial. This is a person who has cancer. Fortunately, because of the publicity around his case, he was able to get back enrolled in that clinical trial. But another person in that clinical trial, a woman, during the time that the Trump administration had disrupted the clinical trial, she developed complications, so she no longer qualified for that clinical trial. And she is in hospice today. So these are the costs that have been imposed on the American people by this administration from day one. And that's the important thing that people need to recognize. From day one, as Congresswoman Presley and others have talked about, from day one, you had Elon Musk coming in and literally taking a chainsaw to the important services that you provide to our country. The chainsaw is not my metaphor, it was theirs. You could see Elon Musk literally wielding a chainsaw as if this was a good thing, to hack away at services that are important to the American people. And in addition to what happened at NIH, we saw the terrible consequences all over the country. We saw when you had flooding in Texas that the FEMA folks weren't able to do their jobs on time. You've seen the National Weather Service not be able to provide the emergency forecasts that are necessary to save lives. And again, that list also goes on and on. But I think what the country needs to know is the Trump administration has been engaged in a government shutdown since day one. What they're doing is shutting down the parts of government they don't like, including the Department of Education. They don't apparently want a U.S. Department of Education for the American people. Shutting down the things they don't like and illegally transferring a lot of that money to the things that they want to focus on. So we've had a shutdown by this administration from day one, and all of you are evidence of that fact. And so what we're saying is that we're not going to provide Donald Trump with a blank check to continue his lawlessness. We don't want a government shutdown, and we have actually put forward, I voted the other day, to advance a democratic alternative. What it does is put up some guardrails, some safeguards against this lawless president. So, for example, it ends this illegal practice of withholding monies that have been appropriated by Congress for important purposes. That's what they're doing right now. And while they say if they go into a shutdown that they will fire more people, I think all of you recognize that a shutdown gives them no more power to fire people than they have today, where it's already lawless. And so when they say they're going to do that, that really is just mafia-style blackmail. And I think it's important for the American people to understand that if they go into shutdown, what Russ Vought is doing, and Russ Vought, as you know, is the head of the OMB, Office of Management and Budget, who bragged about the fact that he was going to put federal employees in trauma. He bragged about that day one in this administration. And so there are actually very good legal arguments that when you're in a shutdown, they actually have less legal power to fire people. But the point here is what you already know, that they're operating in a lawless fashion. And so what we want to do is put up some safeguards. We also want to turn off this ticking time bomb on Americans' health care, which they left in place, right? And I think, all of you recognize how important it is for all of us to have affordable health care. And what they did is left in place this time bomb that will go off at the end of the year, where people's premiums in the Affordable Care Act will go up, way up. 20 million people are going to see huge spikes in their health insurance premiums. They'll start getting notices as early as the next couple weeks about this. So we're saying to Donald Trump, who passed his so-called big, beautiful bill, which was beautiful if you're a billionaire, but really stunk if you're anybody else, that we're not going to continue to give you a blank check to engage in these lawless activities. We want to actually address the issue of high prices and high costs, including when it comes to health care. And there's something we can do right now that's good for the American people, not simply imposing hardship and higher costs on the American people, which is what he's been doing. So I want to thank all of you. You've been here on Capitol Hill before to really sound the alarm about the dangers to our democracy that we're witnessing. And thank you for being here again. Thank you for your service to the country in the past. Thank you for being here again, not giving up on your country. And I'll end with this. What we all know is they want us to all shut up and go away. They want us to shut up and go away. I mean, they're literally actually using the power of the federal government to try to take away people's First Amendment rights. We've seen that from day one in the administration. We saw it even more recently with the FCC threatening Jimmy Kimmel, all of this. That's what they want us to do. They want us to sort of go quietly into the night. So thank you for being here to say we're not going to do that. We are going to stand up and we're going to fight for our Constitution and we're going to fight for our country and we're going to fight for the American people because that's who you dedicated your lives to. Thank you for what you do. Let's make sure no blank check. Thank you.